let's move on to the
Okay.
Champions League and Europa League, where
Yeah.
United will inevitably find a way
And
to...
Conference League with
Yeah.
Chelsea making an appearance there.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
But essentially, the new format, if you don't know, it has increased from 32 teams to 36 teams in the Champions League. And now it's no longer group stages, how it used to be with, I think it was 8 groups of 4. Now there's a league of 36 teams, and it will be split into 3 segments, essentially, with the top 8 automatically qualifying for the round of 16. From 9th till 24th place will play in a playoff knockout round of 2 games. Then whoever wins those will go through. And then all the rest will be eliminated from the competition. And there's no drop-off to the Europa League anymore. And from the Europa League, I'm pretty sure there's no drop-off to the Conference League. We'll start off with the main Premier League sides in the Champions League. And then I think we'll touch on Real Madrid, obviously defending champions. And PSG, just because we've looked at their games and we think they have a pretty difficult run. So starting off, we have Arsenal. So essentially every team plays 8 games. 4 at home, 4 away. No team can play a team from their own league. So Arsenal can't play Liverpool as an example in this stage. And you cannot play more than 2 countries from the same league. So Arsenal could not play Atalanta, Juventus and Bologna. They can only play 2 at most. So starting things off with Arsenal, they are playing Atalanta, PSG, Shakhtar Donetsk, Inter, Sporting, Monaco, GNK Dinamo, which I'm assuming is Zagreb,
Yes,
Dinamo
yeah,
Zagreb,
yeah.
and Girona.
Yeah.
Those, it's a bit of a mixed bag. There's some difficult ones there, but also some games you expect them to get guaranteed 3 points.
Yeah, I think if Arsenal, they should be favourites to get through this run and get into the playoffs. I think this is a relatively solid enough run that if they want to concentrate on Europe, this is the thing where does Arteta concentrate? Because he's going to find himself in a title race again with Manchester City. And, City are looking on course again to make 85, at least 85, if not 90 points in the Premier League. So the question for Arteta will be, does he focus on the Champions League just to get a trophy? Because that's that's also the one question mark about Arteta at the moment is, can he win a trophy with Arsenal? So I think that's going to be sort of the dilemma that Arteta is going to face.
And I think the nice combination about these is that, they can attack the games like Shakhtar, like Sporting, like Monaco, Zagreb, Girona.
Yeah.
And then, that's almost 15 points.
Exactly.
And I think that'll be more than enough considering some of the other, games that are...
Yeah.
And I think it'll be interesting to see how... Obviously, the intention they said was to get more exciting games early on.
Yes.
But how do the big teams approach... do they... Because I feel like in a group stage where you play 6 games, 3 at home, 3 away... you have to attack almost every single game, especially if, like last season, it was Newcastle, PSG, Dortmund, and AC Milan.
Yeah.
You had to attack every single one of those games because third isn't good enough.
Yeah.
So it's interesting to see if this wanting to get the big teams to play, more often or earlier, how Arsenal approach a game like Shakhtar, where do they rotate and then the game means nothing. So maybe you get 2 high value games out of the 8, but then you get 5 or 6 of teams rotating, treating it almost like the League Cup, because there's such an opportunity for them to, they're playing 8 games now, so there's 24 points available.
Exactly. That's going to be the dilemma, I think.
And I think it'll be interesting. It's an experiment, so
it is.
We'll see.
We'll see.
Second Premier League team, we have Aston Villa, who face Young Boys, Bayern Munich, Bologna, Club Brugge, Juve, Leipzig, Monaco, and Celtic. I think Villa have a good chance of making it to the knockout stages looking at those games.
I think so. Obviously, they've got some tough ones in there.
Bayern,
Juve. Leipzig. Juve will be interesting. I think that's going to be an interesting match because Juve aren't as strong as they used to be. They're not the team that they were a few years ago, but and it's going to be interesting to see a real test of this Aston Villa squad. Do they sort of go full metal jacket and go with Ollie Watkins? They've at least they've got a very good solid backup striker and John Duran who's hitting them in at the moment. So it's going to be a good test for them.
And I think it's a similar debate to Arsenal's where, Aston Villa, are they really in the position to attack the Champions League and sacrifice top 4?
Exactly.
This will be I think it'll be a serious dilemma for Unai Emery because especially how competitive the Premier League is now.
Yes.
You drop points for 2 games in a row,
Yeah.
and Chelsea
Yeah.
haven't had a terrible start to
No.
the season, but they're in 11th already.
Exactly. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's crazy.
Yeah, it is.
Liverpool, I personally think Liverpool's fixtures are relatively tough.
Yeah.
More from the standings of where each team finished last season.
Yes,
But
yeah.
so they have AC Milan, Bologna, Leipzig, Leverkusen, Real Madrid, the classic matchup.
Yeah. Always.
Girona, Lille, and PSV.
Yeah.
I think, from a Liverpool supporters' point of view, Liverpool should progress through this. I
Yeah.
think that Milan is going to be really tough. Obviously, Leverkusen, Real Madrid.
Yeah.
Those three
Those three
are going to be really tough. I
Jesus.
mean,
I don't
Leverkusen,
know.
Real Madrid,
Yeah.
those are really difficult
Yeah.
games.
Yeah.
You could argue Real Madrid will always be the favourites, I think.
Yes,
But
yeah.
Leverkusen have something to prove this season.
Yes. Yeah. They will.
And they've kept a lot of their main players.
Yeah.
I think Liverpool will get through, but another thing about Arne Slot, we don't know how he is in European. We don't know
Exactly,
how he's
yeah.
going to approach it.
Yes. Yeah.
A lot of question marks, but I think
Yeah.
Bologna, this was Bologna last season. I think it's more difficult, but
Yes. Yeah.
they've had so many changes. They've lost
Yeah,
their best players.
exactly,
They've lost their manager,
Yeah.
and I
Yeah.
think I'm assuming Liverpool will go through, but there's some tough games there
Yeah. They are.
that aren't really
Yeah.
guarantees.
Yeah. Yeah.
Man City, obviously the easiest run of fixtures because
Always.
they have it every single
Yeah.
year. So Man City face Sporting, Feyenoord, Juventus, PSG, Club Brugge, Inter, S Bratislava, and Sparta Praha.
Yeah. PSG and
Yeah.
Inter aside, I mean that's a
It's
home
almost a
run.
Europa League group.
Yeah, it's pretty much a Europa League sort of fixtures that they have there. And we already know that City have the depth in
Yeah.
their squad to be able to just rotate. I mean, what's the difference between fielding Rodri and Gundogan? What's the sort of, you've got Savinho, coming into the squad now. You've still got Grealish sitting and getting splinters on the bench. I
Yeah.
mean, it's just,
I'm
they've
sure-
got it. They've got the squad. They've got the firepower to just, Pep can just, field whoever he likes on a sort of given, Champions League day. He'll probably go as strongest teams against PSG and Inter, but for the other games, he could sort of rotate and rest how he likes and
So I think
get through those.
they play Inter first,
Yes.
but then they play it's Bratislava, Sparta Praha, Sporting, Feyenoord before they play Juve.
Yeah,
So they could have already wrapped up
exactly.
their points total before
Yeah.
they even approach the last 2-3 games.
Exactly. Yeah.
So, once again, Man City will be one of the favorites because the draw, now that it's even run by AI, is still
they're
favoring
still
them.
somehow favoring them, run by AI. Yeah.
So, moving on, we'll check out PSG, who, we've said they both, they have a pretty difficult run. So they start off with Girona, then they play Arsenal, PSV, Atleti, Bayern, Salzburg, Man City, and Stuttgart.
Yeah.
So I think Salzburg, Stuttgart are probably the two that
Yes.
they should get points.
Yeah.
But I even think PSV, they were really good in the Eredivisie last year,
Yeah.
the Eredivisie champions.
Yeah.
That might not be that easy.
That's a big banana peel there. Yeah. Yeah.
Because PSG as well in the Champions League, every
Yeah.
year
Yeah.
we
they
expect
find a
so
way.
much of
Yeah.
them.
Yeah.
but then they have the ability to look amazing. And then,
Yes.
I think was it Dortmund last year where
Yeah.
they should have cruised past Dortmund. Just
Yes.
the stats and the amount of goal, like shots they had at goal, the amount of times they hit the post.
Yeah.
It just doesn't feel like it's their year.
Yeah.
Every year.
Yeah, but I think this time they have a less sort of Galactico squad. They always have a star-studded squad, but they have, you're not looking at like the Mbappe and the Messi
and
and
the
the guys who
Neymar.
are just there to sit up front and not work for the team. They've got a squad that's sort of
Way more well-rounded now.
well-rounded, yeah, and that'll work for each other. So I think that'll help them.
And I think we've been waiting for them to take
Yes.
that approach because
Yeah.
as cool as it is on FIFA to play with Messi, Neymar, and
Exactly,
Mbappe,
yeah.
in real life, I don't think anyone thought
No,
that's how you balance a squad
exactly.
at all.
Yeah,
So it'll be interesting to see this year what happens.
Yeah.
So defending champions, Real Madrid, they have a mixed bag of games. I would say that they'll cruise through this, especially with the the addition of Mbappe. If they don't win the Champions League this year, it'll be a failure. Even though it's crazy to say that, but
Yeah.
to have the team they have, it's actually ridiculous. So they play Stuttgart, Lille, Dortmund, AC Milan, Liverpool, Atalanta, Salzburg, and Brest.
yeah, Yeah, I mean,
I think they'll cruise through that.
They'll cruise through that. They have the depth, they have the talent, they have the experience. They'll get through that.
And I think Liverpool's probably their biggest challenge there, but I don't think Liverpool have beaten Real Madrid
in
like 10 years or something crazy like that. More than that. Happen.
No, it'll take a tactical masterclass and absolutely 120% effort from this Liverpool squad to be able to. Yeah.
If Liverpool beat Real Madrid, I will be.
Please no.
All the
please no. Please Real Madrid, whatever you do not lose to Liverpool. I ask you, please, Don Carlo, if you can do one thing, please.
Okay, so that's the Champions League. Let us know what you think of the new formats. What do you think of the teams? What do you think of the matches? Okay, so that's the Champions League. Moving on to Europa League, there's 2 Premier League sides, and we went through the list of the other teams, and there really aren't that many strong. I think it was Real Betis is the only other strong side.
Yes,
we have Man United first.
Yeah.
They take on FC Twente, Porto, Fenerbahce, PAOK, Bodo Glimt, Victoria Pleasant, Rangers, and FCSB, which we discovered was Steaua Bucharest. We did some thorough research. We couldn't figure it out. So what do you think? What do you think of this round of fixtures?
Yeah, it's going to be interesting how Erik ten Hag handles this. Like obviously he's under pressure already in the league. He wants to win a trophy. He's clearly a guy who wants to keep winning trophies no matter how he's doing in the league. That's the way he's extended his tenure so far. But Fenerbahce is going to be a tough test, obviously. Jose Mourinho, I can tell you right now that Jose Mourinho has already gone. At the day of the announcement, he said, okay, United, even if I fail in the Turkish league, Manchester United, I am going to win this game and prove something, because that is pure Jose Mourinho. And I mean, there's already a couple of reunions here. You've got Fred, who's somehow banging in hat-tricks now for Fenerbahce. I always liked Fred, in all honesty. I thought, he was entertainment if nothing else, and he was pure, he was one of those guys who could just cause pure chaos with teams that wanted to be organized. I enjoyed him in that respect. I enjoyed his energy. I enjoyed the way he always gave 120%. And then I think they've also got Sofian Amrabat on loan. Obviously, he was on loan at Manchester United last season, didn't quite work out. He was very good he at least gave United the FA Cup final, very, very good in that game, but United didn't go back in for him, and now he's joined Mourinho's Fenerbahce. So that's going to be a hurdle for United to clear. But in all honesty, I don't think United have the depth at the moment to go fight on 2 fronts. I genuinely don't. We just spoke about depth earlier, and I really don't think the squad is deep enough I'd rather prioritize the league. In all honesty, I know that managers generally are under pressure from the higher ups at whatever club they're working for to, you've got to show some sort of effort in because obviously there's fees and whatever.
And it's a way to make the Champions League.
And it's a way to make the Champions League.
And
with the Premier League getting increasingly competitive, there's no guarantee the top 4, top 5, however it's ranked, is going to be on. So, but at the same time, it's really difficult to see beyond the sort of round robin phase that United keep going and keep being competitive in this. The longer it goes on and the longer the league battle goes on, the top 4 goes on, battle for top 4 goes on, you kind of want to see United sort of prioritizing top 4 rather than the Europa League. United have won
essentially a gamble.
It is. And United have won the Europa League before. I don't think there's any need to win it again. And there's the other thing is that there's no danger of dropping down, as you said. So, it's not like United are going to end up in the Conference League if they don't do well. So, yeah.
I agree. And I think with Man United's squad especially, I know I said only Real Betis are the strong team, but, Porto, obviously, Fenerbahce, Mourinho is the ultimate cup manager when it comes to these kind of things. There will be a test, but I think it's almost like one of those things where United might, with Porto and Fenerbahce being among the first 3 games, see what happens. If you get to December and top 4 looks increasingly more difficult, United will throw all their eggs into the Europa League basket, exactly. I think. So it's one of those things where you have to see what point it gets to before you rule it out or not. Because I think it is a very good opportunity to make the Champions League.
To be fair, it is. I mean, if the top 4 is going all pear-shaped and United are still with a bad record in the Premier League, then Ten Hag is going to have to go.
It's the only way he keeps his job.
It genuinely is the only way he keeps his job. So
yeah. Second to last, or the last Europa League team, we have Spurs. Also, mixed bag of teams. They have Karabag, who almost beat Leverkusen in the Europa League last year. I think it was like in both legs, Leverkusen got 90 extra time winners.
Yeah.
I don't know, this doesn't sound very European, but Ferencvaros, AZ Alkmaar, Galatasaray, who have Osimhen now.
Yeah.
Roma, Rangers, Hoffenheim, and Elfsborg.
Yeah.
Roma, Galatasaray.
Yeah, those are tough.
But Karabag,
yeah,
Rangers, Elfsborg,
yeah,
Hoffenheim maybe, but Spurs should cruise this in my opinion.
Yeah, Spurs should cruise this, but they always have a tendency to be Spursy. So
maybe they'll cruise to the quarters and then they'll buckle.
Yeah.
But I don't think there's much to say about that. Reading those names, if you think Spurs are not going to make it, tell us why. But I don't think there's a compelling argument for why not.
Yeah.
Now we move on to the Conference League, and we have Chelsea, who are the only Premier League team in the Conference League.
Yeah.
They made it through the playoffs against Servette on 3-2 aggregate to qualify, I guess.
Yeah.
They play Ghent, Panathinaikos, Noah, which we said was a really funny name.
A clash of biblical,
Yeah.
a really biblical clash, that one.
Chelsea versus Noah.
Yeah.
Heidenheim, Astana, and Shamrock Rovers.
Yes.
Wow. I don't know where they get some of these teams. I mean, Soviet, basically. Ghent, Panathinaikos. I think
Ghent and
Chelsea should.
They should get through this.
They should win the Conference League.
They should honestly. They should be one of the favourites for the Conference League. They've got 41 players on their box. This is a chance for them to actually give those poor souls who are sitting outside the gym training because there's not enough space in their actual gym. But honestly, it should give Chelsea a chance to test their wider squad depth, and they do have enough talent in their wider squad to be able to push on and
I think
do well.
Again, this is Chelsea's best opportunity for silverware.
But
also, this will give you Europa League next season. And will Chelsea get Europa League? I don't know, top 6.
Yeah.
The way they've started has been inconsistent.
Yes.
I don't know, it's similar to Man United where maybe...
they'll have to see because they'll probably get through to the playoffs and then they'll have to see where they are compared to from the playoffs compared to where they are in the top race for the top 4, top 6 and go from there. Yeah.
And so far, there has been signs of improvement, but still, it's actually ridiculously competitive now.
Yeah, it is.
But before we end off, predictions for Champions League finalists, Europa League finalists, and Conference League finalists. What are your predictions?
Well,
without knowing the draws is difficult, but what would be your ideal matchup for each game?
I think Champions League final, I think you'll see, I think this might be finally be PSG's year. I think they've got a much, as I said, a squad that's actually conducive to going into a cup tournament and doing really, really well. It's not just glittered with stars that don't work for each other, like Neymar, Mbappe, and Messi forming a front three. As star quality as that is, they've actually, they've got a good solid squad this year. So I think PSG will be in there.
Okay.
And I do think, again, Madrid just have to, I think you'll see PSG Madrid. I think Madrid with Mbappe up front, Mbappe facing his old side.
Bellingham faced his old side last year. Why not have Mbappe face PSG?
So I think that's going to be your final. Yeah.
I think in an ideal world, it's Liverpool versus Real Madrid, and we finally get over the line.
You are dreaming, my friend.
I think that would be amazing. Just Arne Slot in his first season doing what Jurgen Klopp couldn't.
Yeah.
But I think Real Madrid will be there 100%.
Yes,
and I think PSG is a good shot. Man City, I think it'll probably be Man City, Real Madrid. That's the easiest one to go for.
But in all honesty,
I think they're the two best teams in the competition. And I think the only it depends. We don't know the draw. Obviously, this is just purely theory.
Yeah.
But if they're not on the same side, I think that is inevitably the final.
Yeah,
so the only thing stopping it is that they get drawn in the semis or quarters.
Yeah.
And Europa League, what are we saying?
Come on, United!
United Spurs.
United Spurs. Come on, let's go for it. Yeah. Unless somehow
that's a guaranteed trophy, right there.
United Fenerbahce final would be popcorn. That would be quite entertaining. But. Let's go United in the final. Why not?
I think United will be in the final. Yes. And I think, to be honest, Spurs have the potential to get there, but
No.
I don't see Spurs.
No.
You know, I think they'll play against a team like Porto or I don't know, something like that. So maybe I'm gonna say, because I think Porto have lost their manager, even though they did well last season against Arsenal. I think United Fenerbahce could be a really interesting shout. To be honest with you guys, I don't know every single team in this competition, so I can't say for sure with confidence. I think United Fenerbahce or I think Spurs will be in and around it, but I don't see Spurs winning the trophy. And Conference League, I know even less teams in the Conference League, so I'm just gonna go Chelsea versus Noah in the final.
Yes, let's go for that.
Okay, cool. Thanks for joining, Dil, and we'll be back next week, guys, for a preview of Matchday 4. So like, subscribe, let us know your opinions in the comments. As always, if we're stupid, let us know. And cheers. Thanks, Dil.
Cheers. Hopefully I'm back next time without this jersey on. Thanks for tuning in.